morning. Can everybody hear me? How are you doing? All right, good morning from Canada, good evening and good afternoon to every one of you. My name is Niels. I'm one of the directors and co-founders of the Northstar Forwarders Alliance, the first network dedicated for FCL forwarders worldwide. On behalf of our team, welcome to our familiarization meeting. Before we start with the program, I would like to request you to switch to speaker's view. If you can press those little dots on top of the screen and switch to speaker's view, this way you will be able to see the main screen of the program today. Today's meeting will last roughly 40 minutes, and to start off with the program, we have a community open mic where I will pass the microphone to Christian, my partner Christian, who will take care of this little segment for the next 10 minutes. Christian, over to you.
Thank you, Niels. Hi, everyone. My name is Chris. Nice to meet you all. I will be hosting the community open mic where we will get the chance to meet some of our companies that are attending here today. Let me go through the gallery view. And when I call out your name, hold on a second. Please introduce your company, where you're from, what your specialization is, and let's get the ball rolling. Hold on a second. Let me just go through the gallery view here. And let me call out a name. Let me start off with an easy name. Luisa from Portugal. How are you doing? Can you unmute yourself and introduce your company?
Yes.
And yourself, please?
Thank you for the opportunity and welcome to everybody. Nice to meet you all. My name is Luisa. I'm representing NVO Express Portugal. We are a very small country. Most of you already heard about Portugal. And our company, it's a small freight forwarder with 9 people. It's a very young company. It was a brand on the past, and we have as a brand 15 years, and the last 4 years, almost 5 years, November this year, we became with our own life company that is a FIATA member and a Freight Forwarder Association from Portugal, and a IATA member as well. So our team is a very experienced team with the youngest person with 6 years of experience till 35. So we are not a very typical freight forwarder experience on this or that or X market. As a small freight forwarder, we are able to offer ocean freight, air freight. Well, for those that needs on Europe, the road freight as well. We can do the custom clearance under DDP, DDU, whatever, door delivery. Even with a special project cargo, we are also a very well-known company on the market. So the best presentation of our company is to see our full presentation on our website, www.nvoexpress.com, and where you can see all the services, or I can share with you all the information that you need, as long as you need from our country. This is a very brief company. Whatever you need, you can speak with us, and we will be pleased to help you. And thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Luisa. Nice to meet you. Let me move on to Mr. Peter Kuiper. I saw you had a nice wine there. Maybe you can unmute yourself, please, and introduce yourself, Peter. Okay, yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Peter Kuiper, and I'm from Jordex Shipping and Forwarding in Rotterdam. We are a reputable freight forwarder. We have offices in Abu Dhabi and in Dubai, and air freight office in Amsterdam. and we can handle all your cargo, import, export, cross-trade, perishables, project cargo. And we are happy to be in this meeting and to hear what all the people can offer. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Nice to meet you. Let me move on to Sorry, can you please, is this Ceretellior?
Lorenzo Cerretelli, hi.
Sorry. Yeah, could you please introduce yourself, your company, and what your specialization is?
Hi, Chris. Thanks for giving me the possibility to speak. I'm Lorenzo Cerretelli. I'm the owner of Alisped. We are a freight forwarder whose headquarters is in Italy. We have 7 offices in Italy. And we also have a 100% controlled company in the United States, plus a series of joint ventures in other countries of the world. You know, we're pretty much focused on air and ocean business, import, export. Company was founded in 1968 by my father, so we have over 50 years of experience. I was curious to learn a little bit more about this Northstar network and understand what are the possibilities given by this network, or what are the advantages that you can, you know, present us. Of course, you know, if you wish to learn more about our company, let me know. And you know, I can talk for an hour, but I think it's just an introductory conversation. So.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me move on to Mr. Igihan Olkay. Could you please unmute yourself?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
I want to call my boss so he can introduce better than me.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, he's just here.
Sure, please.
Yes, hi there. It's Stellamar Shipping from Izmir, Turkey. This is Kazım Bırakşar. I'm the founder of company. We have been established in 2019 in June and active in all Turkish ports. We are a freight forwarder, mainly focused to container shipping and project cargoes. So we do a lot of business between Turkey and Mediterranean area. Besides that, we are also active for North Europe and South America as well. So we would like to get in touch with members from some partners who will be interested to do more business in Turkey. So that's why we have decided to be part of Northstar. Sorry for that. So as you know, Turkey has a big potential. It's presently we are also affected, of course, of this container, empty container equipment problems. However, due to our regular cargo flows as Stellamar Shipping between some carriers, we are able to provide empty equipment and space. So this is one of our advantage as a freight forwarder, being located especially in Izmir. Our headquarters is Izmir, but we can help for all ports. So no problem. We can receive your request for all Turkish ports. As said, we would more prefer also to receive your request from Istanbul. which is mainly served from two different ports. One is at Ambarlı area, north of Istanbul, and the other one is in the south, called Gebze or Izmit. Yeah, that's what I would like to mainly say. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to present ourselves in this online meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I will call one more name, Miss Ayu. Miss Ayu, could you please unmute yourself?
Hi, good evening. Do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you loud and clear.
Yes.
Ayu, can
Good
you?
evening, all.
Evening.
Hello. Hello.
Yep,
Yes,
we can
hello.
hear.
My name is Ayu. I'm from Jakarta, Indonesia. Our company name is FS Logistic.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you.
What is your company focused on? What kind of services is your specialization?
Our company especially consolidator, but we also arrange for FCL, project cargo, and air cargo.
Okay, nice to meet you also, Ayu.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, I will move on. Thank you very much for attending the community open mic. Please allow me to move on to the next segment, which is our network introduction, where you will get to know more about what Northstar is all about. So let's get the video rolling. Nashi, please.
About Northstar directly from the founders. It's a fantastic opportunity to meet virtually everyone and to learn more about this group and develop business opportunities together. Last year has truly been an exceptional year on all fronts. And if there's one thing last year has shown us, then it's the realization that sea freight is one of the backbone industries for our society to continue to thrive. Before I begin with introducing Northstar to you, I will guide you through the agenda for today. Today's meeting will last about 40 minutes or so with the following program. After the presentation about Northstar, we will be having an open Q&A to answer all of your questions about our network, followed by the keynote presentation on logistics trends after COVID-19. Northstar is the newest brand under the parent company RW Solutions, which is a network management company that was founded in Hong Kong in 2002 and has its operational arm in the Philippines. RW Solutions, meanwhile, has 8 freight forwarding networks that are into industry niches. We believe that networks should be themed according to their handling advantages and interests for members to engage into more meaningful business exchanges, with more qualified networking across various brands. At present, we have more than 900 members from 100 countries under the RW umbrella. You might wonder why we choose the name Northstar. When you Google Northstar, this is what it will say. The North Star is the anchor of the northern sky. It is a landmark or a sky marker that helps those who follow it determine direction as it glows brightly to guide and lead towards a purposeful destination. It also has a symbolic meaning, for the North Star depicts a beacon of inspiration and hope to many. Before GPS and advanced communication systems that would allow us to navigate ships, captains of ships oriented themselves according to the stars in the skies. North Star is a symbol of a bright future and a path towards the right direction. This is why we thought it would be a great name to use for our FCL forwarding network, as we find each other to develop a common direction for a greater future together. Welcome to Northstar, the first and only FCL Forwarders focused network in the world. We are glad to inform you that we're now at 38 founding members and another 150 interested FCL forwarders from all over the world and still growing. We believe that it is really important to reestablish networks worldwide to find new ways and partners in coming up with new solutions together. Especially in such volatile times, companies that are active in their markets will benefit from the changes the most. We are glad to see continued interest in the network and really look forward to our in-person launch meeting next year. During the course of our development phase, before our launch, we will be releasing our Founders Agency List every 3 months to keep our community updated. Our agency list features the profile of our FCL founding members, shipping line contracts, and regular inbound and outbound business lanes. So what are the benefits of being part of Northstar? As members of the network, this is a venue to meet and partner with FCL forwarding partners worldwide. This is a continued project for us to grow the network and continuously offer more agents worldwide. While the quality of our partners is very important to us, it is likewise important to make sure that any payment issues are settled amongst the partners. As a network, we bring the initial trust for members to be able to start business with ease and offer payment protection for all members. To avoid bad companies to be part of the network, we screen members before being able to be part of our official agency list. For this, we also do background checking on applying companies through several sources. This is to ensure that companies that are part of the network are screened and approved by the network. It is our standard that we host a once-a-year conference for members to meet personally, but as everyone clearly understands, it was not possible to meet last year and will probably not be possible to meet this year. So we're going to be conservative about our conference dates, and we're planning for our in-person launch in Bangkok next year. In the meantime, we plan for 2 to 3 more virtual pre-launch meetings before our in-person event next year. Our second virtual meeting will be at the end of this year in November. Stay tuned for more information about it. As a proactive network management company, we attend various trade shows where we promote Northstar and our agency list. Our favorite events are Transport Logistics in Munich, that happens every 2 years, as well as the Intermodal in Sao Paulo, Brazil. During these expos, we exhibit and we also offer social activities for our members. Our agency list is unique. We highlight the relationships of our FCL members with shipping lines. If there are volume deals that fellow Northstar partners with shipping lines, we showcase this directly with the agency list and our other members to be aware of and possibly inquire about. With a wide variety of partners, we will be able to leverage on existing relationships with various shipping lines. I always wondered why there was not one agency list that is designed to feature shipping line contracts. So we're glad to be the first one in this direction. What are the unique opportunities when being part of an FCL network? Alone by being part of Northstar, you will already know that all the partners are part of Northstar that are mainly interested in further developing FCL business. Many times, shipping line relationships alone are not enough to add value for customers to want to do business with. You might want to use SOC containers for which you need a partner to look for your return traffic, or discover a new way of transloading cargo to access and create services with the use of different shipping lines. Are collapsible containers a viable option for port pairs that have imbalance of cargo to reduce repositioning charges? Or find new transshipment ports for your current business? All these opportunities are still to be found together with partners of Northstar by starting a conversation and asking the right questions. For the founders that are here, please note that while you are already a founder of the network, we will only start counting your 1-year membership on the day when we have our first physical meeting. This means that being part of the network as early as now gives you free networking value until the launch date. We will continue to have more activities to build our community, and thank you for being part of our journey as early as now. Welcome to Northstar, the first network dedicated for FCL forwarders. We hope you will enjoy our program today. Let's make new friends and find new opportunities to look forward to in our ever-changing world of logistics. Thank you.
I do apologize for the slight technical issues that we're experiencing here with some video and audio lag. Now that you are already familiar who we are open to answering any of your questions, and we would be happy to assist you in answering those. But before we do that, I would recommend that you switch to the side-by-side speakers view for a better viewing experience. Now, we will get started with the FAQ or Q&A questions, and I will go back to hand the microphone over to Christian, who can maybe ask me a first question to get the ball rolling. If you're too shy to speak in front of the camera, I can also recommend that you just post a question into the chat box, and which I will read out after we're through our first 3 questions. So Christian, what kind of question would you ask me?
Maybe I can start off with some of the frequently asked questions. For example, what kind of events does Northstar organize?
So in Northstar, we primarily have 3 events, and this year, obviously, in-person events are not possible. So we are conducting 2 main virtual events. One of them is the familiarization event, which we are taking part right now. It is basically a quick introduction into the network. It showcases what we're all about. The other virtual event that we are organizing is a pre-launch meeting. This happens November 9 onwards. This is unique because you will have actually the opportunity to do face-to-face meetings through our dedicated scheduling software with other participating delegates. So there is an added value in terms of being able to actually network one-on-one with participants rather than just a one-way type of conversation that we're having right now. The familiarization is really what it is in its description. It is there to just familiarize yourself and to give you an introduction of what we do.
Okay, let me ask 2 more questions, but yeah, okay, so.
I have a question.
Go ahead, please, Luisa.
Yes, Luisa.
Okay, what kind of credit protection on the network you have?
Yes, so Luisa, we will be answering that in question number 3. Maybe we will be maybe we go through those 3 FAQs together first, and then if you have further questions afterwards, we will be able to answer you.
How do you background check your partners?
Okay, so an important part, of course, when working with partners is we have to make sure that they're reliable. And oftentimes we may not have the capability or not the knowledge in knowing how to do specific background checks on companies. We as a network and as a network organizing company, we have a huge resource on freight forwarders available already. So we have our own internal information on freight forwarding companies. And of course, we also do background checking through the FDRS platform. We also go through local associations, or we check with local association. We make sure that new applicants or new members are part of a local freight forwarding association. And we also, of course, do background check online if there's any records that we may find suspicious or that we can find. And then, of course, we also want to make sure that the company has been in business for a certain number of years, so that there's at least enough know-how about freight forwarding with that particular new business that is applying. So there are multiple ways. There is no single way that will answer to all, but we try to approach it from as many different angles as possible.
Okay, and the last question, last FAQ from my side before we open up to everyone else. How much credit should you provide to your partner, and how do you protect yourself?
Yes, so that goes a little bit hand in hand with what Luisa was going to ask earlier. Many times when we work with each other, when freight forwarders work with one another, credit terms might not be clear. Or you might assume, oh, because you're part of a network now, we can expect any kind of 90-day credit, where in fact it may put everyone at risk if credit terms are not clarified. So credit terms are one thing and payment protection are another. Credit terms, it's very important that you agree with your partner beforehand on what kind of payment policy you expect. There is no particular set rule as long as both partners agree to it. We as a network generally recommend that payments should be conducted or done, processed after 30 days. But if you are okay with a 60-day credit term, or if you're okay with 90-day credit term, as long as the other partner agrees to that, then this is totally acceptable, of course, right? What's also, of course, very important is payment protection and payment security. We do have a payment protection in place for all the members. It starts at $5,000 and goes up to $20,000 US, depending on seniority, of course. The longer you are part of a group, the more payment protection you will also receive. What's important there when you're looking to join a network is, of course, if the network has enough financial resources to be supporting its payment protection that are in place for all the members. As you know, there are hundreds and hundreds of new networks out there nowadays, and it is your job to make sure that whoever you are joining has enough, let me say, credibility as a network and also enough financial resources in order to be able to support whatever benefits that they're claiming to be able to give to you. So the reason, these are basically one of the most important reasons to join a network is, of course, the payment security and guarantee, which gives you more peace of mind when working with other agents. The floor is open for you now. If you have any additional questions, feel free to ask me. I'll be happy to answer them to you. Please go ahead. Otherwise, also feel free to post in the chat box. Let me take a look if I can find any questions right now very quickly. Okay. Don't have any at this stage. But again, if you do have a question, we'll be happy to share that with you. Also within through our emails or WhatsApp platforms anytime. If there's no further questions, I will be happy to
have, sorry.
Yes. Yes.
Me again.
Yes.
And again with credit protection. So what do you mean by new members, old members? So you only provide a certain amount, the lowest amount for the new members to protect?
Yes.
Or do you have a kind of insurance that we pay a fee to get into the network, and we pay like a annual fee for, or entrance fee for that insurance protection? And you gave I believe you gave an example. So my main concern is when we get involved on a network, if by any chance a member that is not honest and leave without paying, so what will be your insurance role to protect that member, even if it is a new member?
Yes. So what we do is right away, we provide $5,000 US payment protection to be able to, let me say, deal with the most immediate and smaller transactions that you're handling. Let me just clarify, maybe also for everyone, there is no global insurance provider out there that provides payment protection, which is usually a dispute that happens amongst members. There is no insurance company that provides such a service. So payment security is always provided by the network directly. And for us, that payment protection is already included in the membership fee that you're paying. So part of the membership fee that you're paying, part of that amount is premium for the payment insurance that we provide. What I mean by providing additional coverage is after you're a member, after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, we upgrade the amounts of payment protection that we provide to our members. So it gradually increases the longer you're part of a group. with up to maximum of $20,000 right now. This is something that we're constantly monitoring, of course, but as I said before, there's no Allianz insurance or Manulife type of insurance worldwide that provides any type of dispute protection, which is why it's important for you as a freight forwarder to check with your network if they have enough financial resources available in order to be able to really protect everyone in the group. It's easy to say I can protect one agent, but can you protect 900 agents, or can you protect 500 agents, and so on? So this is how we are doing it at the moment.
Okay. Last question, sorry, I'm a very picky person. So last question.
Yes.
How often do you do research through the members to know about the statistic or financial situation between the company and the network members? Do you usually do surveillance?
Yes, so we do background checking on all the new companies, the new members that are joining. We try to, of course, also get financial information through our various sources about the companies that are joining, as well as we have our own records since we have started in 2002. We have quite a broad database available on freight forwarding companies from around the world. So we have our internal records as well, but we do try to keep them updated every other year or so, where we let me say, continuously try to update our information on other freight forwarders out there about financial status and so on. It's not always easy because it's not always transparent, obviously. But yeah, we do have our own sources there as well, of course.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, great. Thank you, Luisa. Maybe I can move on now to our next segment, which is a keynote presentation from Mark Miller. And he will be discussing the COVID-19 impact on global supply chains. Mark Miller is one of our guest speakers and keynote presenters for many of our virtual as well as in-person real events. Please go ahead.
Book Global Supply Chain Ecosystems. I am pleased to be able to share with you my thoughts and insights about the COVID-19 impact on global supply chains. We are now on the cusp of a thrilling new era for supply chain. This coronavirus crisis has vividly exposed the profound interdependencies in today's global supply chain ecosystems and powerfully demonstrated the intrinsic risks in our complex, connected, volatile world. In this presentation, I will explore the supply chain ramifications of COVID-19, which is already proving to be a super accelerator of some pre-existing megatrends, including globalization shifts, digital disruption, and the e-commerce frenzy. The next normal will be characterized by uncertainty. But what is certain is that this virus will have significant supply chain implications, both over the short-term 12 to 18 months, but also over the subsequent 2 to 3 year medium term, such that supply chain 2025 will be substantially different on multiple dimensions. The initial impact of COVID-19 was supply-side gridlock, as mainland China went into a coronavirus-induced hibernation just after the extended Chinese New Year holidays. This resulted in global shortages of components and products, making it powerfully and painfully apparent just how global supply chains have become inextricably dependent upon China. COVID then embarked on its own globalization journey, spreading fear and uncertainty around the world as healthcare systems became overwhelmed. Widespread lockdowns ensued, with shops and businesses closing. High street retail came to an abrupt halt, triggering the most dramatic collapse in demand. The exceptions, of course, being medical supplies and equipment, which experienced an unprecedented surge in demand. As consumers became unable or unwilling to venture out of their homes, shopping for groceries and household essentials moved online en masse, turbocharging the e-commerce frenzy and generating unparalleled volume growth in small packages for home deliveries. Then, just as China started to reopen their economy and factories were getting back to work, production orders were getting cancelled due to excess inventories and lack of demand. And so global supply chains ground to a halt. As these extraordinary supply chain shocks reverberated around the world, companies are being forced to urgently reevaluate their sourcing strategies, business models, and distribution channels. This inevitably resurfaced discussions about the relocation of offshored production. Let's recap. Nearshoring is the relocation of production activities closer to the market where the products are going to be consumed. Onshoring, also known as reshoring, is one step further, whereby production is moved back into the country where the goods are going to be consumed. These are not new topics. Recall other huge supply chain shocks such as the Fukushima earthquake, the Iceland volcano, and the Thailand floods. They all triggered animated nearshoring discussions, championing the need to relocate production closer to the final consumption markets. However, what typically happens is that enthusiasm for change tends to dissipate as things soon get back to normal, and companies realize the actual enormity of truly reconfiguring their supply chains. But this time is different. This time, I believe, nearshoring will become more than just talk for a number of reasons. Firstly, this COVID crisis is much more severe in impact and global in reach than previous supply chain shocks. The consequences from a supply chain perspective will be much deeper, much wider, much more long-lasting. Secondly, this COVID predicament is intertwined with massive geopolitical tensions between the world's superpowers. Tensions which have already triggered some companies to relocate the production of their US destined products in order to avoid the US tariffs on China sourced imports. And thirdly, with the continuing growth in emerging markets and the increase in intra-regional trade, globalization had already become somewhat stalled. And so with the increasing polarization between East and West, coupled with lingering frustrations about differences in business practices, I believe it's inevitable there will be some decoupling, resulting in changes to global trade flows. And so COVID becomes the catalyst that actually stimulates companies into taking real action on reshoring and nearshoring initiatives, which will reduce dependencies and diversify risks, but will obviously result in shorter supply chains. However, relocating your supply chain is much easier said than done. This is not for the faint-hearted. Today's supply chains have been built up and fine-tuned and developed over a number of years, if not decades. They cannot just be readily untangled, packed up and moved elsewhere. This is a serious undertaking, whether nearshoring or reshoring. It's a project that's likely to be measured in years, not weeks or months. And whilst COVID is a catalyst for companies to take action, COVID-related restrictions will inhibit the process of reconfiguring the supply chain by nature of travel-related limitations and, of course, the restriction on in-person exchanges. Accelerating the process, on the other hand, will be government incentives. The United States, with much fanfare, has announced grants and subsidies and tax relief for American companies that relocate their manufacturing back into the United States of America and create American jobs. It's not just America. Canada, Korea, some European countries have all announced initiatives to encourage the relocation of manufacturing. Japan, for example, has allocated a $2.2 billion fund to help Japanese companies repatriate their manufacturing back into Japan and create local jobs. Now, of course, in these first world economies, there's a concern about the high cost of labor. And this is where I believe we'll see automation come readily into play. Robotics and automation are substantially lower cost now than they were 20 or 30 years ago when we started the offshoring globalization journey. And readily available, economically viable automation solutions will ease the process of reshoring manufacturing back into developed market economies. Now, for nearshoring, the key beneficiaries need to obviously be in close proximity to the final consumption market and have lower cost platforms. So the key contenders for the United States market, for example, would be Mexico as the leading contender, leveraging the North American Free Trade Agreement as well. For European markets, Eastern European countries such as Poland, Turkey, Hungary would be leading contenders as nearshoring platforms. So nearshoring will reduce reliance on Asia in general and China specifically, and we'll see the supply chains being typically much more regionally focused and therefore shorter. They could be configured as made in Latin America for America or made in Eastern Europe for Europe. However, this will in no way result in a mass exodus of manufacturing outside of China, but we will see some diversification across the Asia region. Several reasons for this. First of all, we are now firmly in the Asian century. 1/3 of global GDP is in Asia. We are home to 1.8 billion people in the consuming class. And by the year 2030, Asia will represent 2/3 of the world's middle class. So made in Asia for Asia will remain a very viable supply chain strategy for generations to come. And this will enable companies to capitalize on the huge potential across Asia's emerging economies. At the same time, more and more companies will also be diligently exploring their China Plus options, looking for additional locations around Asia for sourcing and production of products and components where there is abundant labor that is lower cost than the China labor has become. Different sectors will have a different mobility, if you like. Garments, footwear, sports goods, furniture, their supply chains are relatively mobile or movable, certainly compared to much more complex products and supply chains like high-tech electronics, household goods, and automobiles. So the leading contenders around the Asia region, they vary by industry segment. But Vietnam, Indonesia, India, Bangladesh, Cambodia, these are all contenders for post-pandemic divergence of production activities that can leverage their low-cost labor markets. However, none of these alternatives can match the huge extent of China's resources. China remains the clear leader in both scale and scope, leveraging its massive infrastructure investments over the last 20 years and its huge workforce. And for that very reason, many supply chains will remain in China, or at least remain China-centric, And that includes all the multinational companies who are selling into China's enormous domestic market, whether they are targeting the consumer or the industrial segments. Such companies will retain within China all their manufacturing, sourcing, and assembly activities for goods destined for sale in the domestic China market in the supply chain strategy that is now known as in China, for China. So in summary, the consequences of COVID-19 will result in a step change for global trade as we know it, spelling the end of 30 years of globalization. Post-pandemic, the next normal will see some radical reconfiguration of global supply chains, adopting a much more regional and localized approach. Evolving through to year 2025, we can expect to see widespread deployment of shorter supply chains that increase control, increase responsiveness, and increase resilience, whilst also reducing lead times, reducing transport costs, and reducing emissions, and helping to mitigate risk. And so in times of such great uncertainty, it is best to be prepared. Companies should be planning for the worst, hoping for the best, and always expect the unexpected.
All right, there you go. This has certainly been an interesting presentation by Mark Miller. I would like to remind you about our November 9 pre-launch meeting. Again, this will give you the opportunity to actually participate in face-to-face meetings through our scheduling system. Thank you very much for joining our Northstar Familiarization Meeting today. I hope you did find some value in learning and understanding a little bit more on what we do and what we stand for. We will have a very quick Zoom survey that will pop up on your window. And we would appreciate your quick comments. Yes, once again, I look forward to seeing you in November 9. And if you have any other questions, of course, feel free to approach any of our team. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you in October. Thank you very much for spending the last hour or so with us, and see you very soon. Thank you.